All right, today we're going to unpack a really powerful parable, a fresh take on a philosophical classic. It's a story all about this Nazarene figure. But here's the twist. He doesn't walk into a marketplace to save souls. Nope. He's there to diagnose a profound sickness that he sees festering right in the heart of humanity. Okay, let's dive into this. So get this picture in your head. A Nazarene figure, he comes down from his quiet mountain and steps right into a chaotic, bustling marketplace. He isn't looking for God. He already knows that grave is empty. What he's really searching for is something way, way rarer: courage. The courage inside people themselves. He looks at this crowd, totally lost in their own little worlds, content, and he's about to just shatter their peace with a terrible truth. And this is how he kicks it off. Not with a blessing, not with a greeting, but with this monumental accusation. You have unchained the earth from its sun. Wow. With just that one line, he's not just talking about the death of God. He's talking about the death of all meaning, the loss of our entire moral and existential compass. So this accusation, it builds into a full-blown diagnosis of a world that's in total freefall. The Nazarene here, he isn't some prophet. Think of him more like a doctor, identifying a crisis that humanity hasn't even realized it's in yet. They've killed their own source of light, and they have absolutely no idea what to do in the darkness that's coming. He just starts firing these terrifying questions at the stunned crowd. He's trying to make them feel the real weight of what they've done. Are we not plunging continually? It's such a vivid image, isn't it? A world that's completely lost its footing, just tumbling through an endless, empty void. And the sense of disorientation just gets deeper. Is there still any up or down? I mean, really think about what that means. Without that divine reference point, that sun, all objective values, our whole sense of moral direction, it's just collapsed. There's no North Star, no absolute truth to guide us anymore. And then he lands on the core terror of it all, of nihilism. Are we not straying as through an infinite nothing? This is that feeling, that chilling feeling of being completely and utterly lost in a meaningless universe. The crowd, they may have stopped believing in God, but they haven't yet felt the cold breath of this infinite, empty space that he's describing. So this all sets up the crucial question that really drives the rest of the parable. If the old virtues are dead and gone, what comes next? What kind of new ideas, what new moralities are going to rush in to fill this terrifying emptiness? Well, the first answer, as we're about to see, is a pretty poisonous one. And the first things to crawl into this void are what he calls the tarantulas. They offer a new virtue, a new morality to replace the old one. They come with this message of equality and justice, but as the Nazarene is about to reveal, their words are laced with a very subtle and very destructive poison. The way the Nazarene defines them is just brilliant. He says they aren't like vipers in the desert. No, they are the ideas that crawl right into our hearts. And their weapon, their web, is the lie of equality. It sounds noble, right? Equality? But he's saying it's a trap, one that's designed to capture and paralyze the human spirit. Let's really break down their venom. The Nazarene says their whole call for equality isn't born from love. Not at all. It comes from a secret envy of people with power or strength. Their cry for justice is just a socially acceptable mask for what they really want: revenge against those they resent. And they praise the humble and the meek, not out of virtue, but because those qualities pose zero threat to them. It's an incredibly clever, self-serving tactic. Now, what's really fascinating is how this slide just perfectly illustrates their whole deception. On one side, you've got the mask, the virtuous words they preach. All should be equal. We seek justice. But then, on the other side, you see the resentful reality. No one should be greater than us. We seek revenge. This is the core of their poison. And this right here is their ultimate goal. It's not about lifting everyone up. It's about tearing everything down to the same low level. A world with no risk, no challenge, and in the end, no greatness. Just a flat, sterile plain where nothing magnificent could ever possibly take root. But there is an antidote to this poison. The Nazarene presents a radically different path forward, a whole philosophy he calls the justice of the earth. And this is the worldview of the Übermensch, or the Overman. And this is its foundational principle, a direct challenge to everything the tarantulas stand for. Men are not equal. In this philosophy, inequality isn't some problem we need to fix. It's a glorious and necessary force that gives life its very purpose, its drive to become more. So, what is this Übermensch, this overman? It's so crucial to get this right. It's not a specific person. It's a higher state of being, an ideal for all of humanity to strive for. It's a potential that can only be unlocked by overcoming hardship, not by seeking comfort and safety. And the path to get there has 3 key steps. First, greatness is born from struggle. Simple as that. Second, it's fueled by inequality. The very fact that we are not all the same is what gives us a reason to strive for something better. And third, it requires you to reject resentment and instead embrace that beautiful, difficult climb of becoming something more. So this lays out the 2 paths before humanity so clearly. On one side, you've got the tarantula's world, defined by enforced equality, by resentment, and the goal of that flat, sterile plane. On the other side, the Übermensch's world, built on glorious inequality, on striving, and on the constant goal of becoming something greater. It's a stark choice. So how does this abstract philosophical conflict actually play out? Well, it becomes a real dramatic confrontation right there in the marketplace. As the Nazarene finishes speaking, a priest, who's been listening with more and more anger, decides he has to act. The priest, his face just twisted with this righteous fury, points a finger and shouts. Now pay close attention to the words he uses. Humility, love, and justice. See? He's using the virtuous language of the tarantula to lash out, to sting the one who threatens his entire worldview. And the Nazarene's response? This is the most powerful lesson of all. He doesn't argue, he doesn't defend himself, he just smiles. Why? Because in that one moment, the priest has just proven his entire point for him. That priest's outburst becomes the final lesson. It's the key that unlocks this entire philosophy. The Nazarene uses this exact moment to give his disciples the one crucial insight they need to understand everything he's been saying. He leans in and whispers, "You see? The tarantula bites." That priest's cry for justice has just been unmasked for what it truly is. It's a threat. It's a promise of revenge, perfectly cloaked in the language of virtue. And that is the ultimate lesson. So the crucial takeaway is this. The whole parable is a warning. It's urging us to look past the beautiful words people use, words like justice, fairness, equality, and to ask a much deeper question. What's the real motivation behind them? What is the whisper behind the word? And this is the question the parable leaves us with. When we hear these calls for a better world, for justice, for equality, are we hearing a genuine desire to build something great? Or are we hearing the subtle, resentful whisper of a tarantula who doesn't want to build, but only wants to level? That's definitely something we're thinking about.